Hello and welcome to Talking WoW, the podcast where we talk about World of Warcraft, believe it or not. My name is Tom, and joining me today on the show, as usual, it's Marty. Hey,
Hello. I'm made out of gold today.
Oh, you look so shiny and fabulous. And the reason why we are recording this episode today, because we are going to be talking about the early access pre-order bonus, which has been added to the War Within. Now, BlizzCon came along and there was lots of feel good around the fact that not one, not two, but 3 future expansions had been announced. But something that perhaps flew under the radar during the weekend of excitement was the fact that during the pre-orders for the War Within is the fact that it's broken down into 3 editions, and in that higher tier edition, that $90 edition, a little feature stating 3 days early access to the War Within has been added to this. So to start, Marty, I'll just say, have you pre-ordered it yet?
I normally have a stance where, don't pre-order, but I pre-ordered.
So you're part of the problem. Anyway. But no, we're here to have a quick discussion about that and what that maybe means going forward as well, because, I mean, pre-ordering games and getting bonuses is not a new thing, and getting early access to a game is also not a new thing. And in fact, Blizzard themselves did this very thing in Diablo 4. So we are now here with the next Warcraft expansion coming out, the War Within. And this is a feature that has been added. And I guess, first of all, like, we are doing the whole base edition, heroic edition, and epic edition. It's not just going down to the shop anymore, Marty, and buying that box, that one disc, and, simpler times, right?
I mean, is it simpler time? I mean, sure, there's multiple editions to pick from, but you can do it all from your home. You don't need to go anywhere. You just press order and pay. I mean, I did it.
I know you did it.
Exactly. And
I mean, yeah, that's
if that's not simple. Point. If that's not simple, then I don't know what's simple. I
meant simple in principle of just like there was just one edition and maybe the collector's edition.
So 2 editions technically, right? That's always been 2 editions. A normal one where you just get the game, and one where you get some extra goodies. So,
and now there's just one more. So, but that's just tipped the scales completely out of sync there. But yeah, I suppose the big controversy around this is the fact that if you pre-order this epic edition of the game, which is $90, by the way, you will then get 3 days early access to the expansion when it launches. And you absolutely can't see me doing quotation marks when I'm saying early access, because that's what this is being advertised at. But really, when you look at it a bit closer, it's not really early access, is it?
I don't know. I mean, you still get access to the leveling experience, right? It's just all the max level stuff you don't get access to. So there's no Mythic Plus, there's no rating, there's nothing. I mean, the season hasn't started with the 3-day early access, right? But to my understanding,
yeah, that's correct. But what I mean is, Blizzard would be like, here's the launch date right here, but we've decided internally, like, this is the launch date, but then we'll move that 3 days back. And then we'll charge people. So they can play it a bit earlier. And yes, there is like other things included in the epic edition.
Sorry. So how does this work? So it would launch as normal for everyone else, right? But you get 3-day early access, right? Or have they done the other way around, where you would have access on normal launch time, like aka Wednesday, and everyone else has to wait till the weekend? Is that how it works?
I mean, that's essentially what it is, but the way they word it and the way they move the goalposts is to make you think you're actually getting it earlier, but you're not getting anything earlier.
So if I pay $90, I would get it on Wednesday. in the EU, because I'm really confused about how this works. That's why I'm having I don't know if I should bring out the pitchforks or not, because will the normal edition give me access on the normal day, which is, you know, the night between Tuesday and Wednesday? That you know, that's the global launch.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you, and I think this is what's confused you, is they just shifted that goalpost. Like, yes, they have a launch day, and then they have this other day 3 days before, which you get to play it before. But who's to say that the 3 days before couldn't have also been a launch day? You know what I mean? It's just you're paying to not play the game later now. You're not paying for some early access. It's just the way it's worded is to make it seem like there is, you know, it's a special thing that you get to access early. But they're just they have manufactured this so that they can sell it at a higher price.
Okay, I mean, then I get it. Thank you, because I was very confused about this as just looking at it. You know, what does this even mean? And we also have to say that I pre-ordered the Heroic Edition. I did not go for the Epic Edition because I don't. I mean, obviously, I'd like to have early access, but I don't really. It makes no sense to me, I think, because sure, you can get your leveling over and done with, but that's about it. You know, you still have to wait for all the good stuff like everybody else. So they're not really selling something that, in my point of view, is worth that amount of money.
And something that they are doing with the fact that they're offering this, which I think is probably the like pinnacle of why this doesn't sit very well, is the fact that expansion launches are like the most magical time in World of Warcraft. And yes, a launch of an online game and janky servers and things not really working out the way they're supposed to. I mean, if that's an issue, is it your first time on the internet? Because this stuff happens all the time. And if you have any experience with how servers work, then you might even have an ounce of sympathy. Or not, I don't know. But the fact that now the player base is going to be split on launch. Now, there is a launch day, but there's also the 3-day early access launch day. And now that whole special feeling of the launch was split into two groups. And some people will say, well, I don't play the game when it launches. I usually wait a week for the servers to settle down. Or some people say, I think it's a good thing because it's going to help stabilize the servers. You know, you're not going to have this massive influx of people all at once.
Of course you will. If people are saying that don't think there will be a huge influx of people on launch day, then they are mistaken. Of course they will. The only difference is that someone paid to be beta testers this time around, which I'm also so like, why? You know,
remember when people used to get paid to test games? Now we're paying to test games. Yeah, yes, you also get beta access.
Oh, I wasn't even hinting at the beta access. I was hinting at someone gets access 3 days early. So, you know, they're going to be the beta testers for all the live stuff. But yes, sure, you're also paying to get beta access, or you will get beta access if you buy that package, which is also really weird to me because, as you said, you know, it used to be you used to be paid for it or get access to it for free. And now you have to pay for it. It's yeah, it doesn't sit well with me at all this, which is also why I didn't go for the Epic Edition.
Another thing as well is, and despite the fact we have the game data mined and such like, there is that just window of discovery where you venture into these new lands, you've got quests, you've got story, and just everyone going into that, you know, at the agreed upon same time, at least it sort of helps counteract, you know, the fact that things aren't going to get spoiled, because things get uncovered really quickly and things do get spoiled very quickly. I mean, you only have to see it when like a latest patch comes out that, you know, someone's already mowed through it all and then, you know, they're like, I've got nothing else to do. But here's what happens in the story. But just the fact that, I don't know, that magic of, I just think back to like everyone queuing up to go through the dark portal or something. And yes, that's still going to be there in some essence, but also it's just strange for me that like on the actual launch night, you'll be maybe standing there waiting to go in, but you already know people are already doing the expansion and have experienced that for a few days. And we're only talking about days here. So it doesn't feel like it's a long time, and it's not. But I think it's the principle of it all. The fact that you're charging this extra fee, and the only extra things you do get for the Epic Edition is the beta, the 3 days early access, 30 days of game time, which is always nice, a pet, a toy, and a Hearthstone effect. And okay, some people will argue that, hey, I'm a collector, like I want those collection things. I'm not doing it for the 3 days early access. But I'm sure as heck, when most people come to the checkout and they look at the editions and they see that 3-day early access, that is going to be a major deciding factor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. It's so strange to look at, to be fair. And I know that we also have voiced our opinions already on Twitter a little bit. And I was very surprised to see that there are actually a few people who are defending this and think this is perfectly fine, which is really surprising to me.
So, I mean, to look at it from that point of view, to defend it, it's great business. Is it great business? Like, yeah, you're going to make more money by doing this. So as a company, that's great. You're going to make more money. The question I would say is, where does that money go? It certainly ain't going to the developers who are putting all the hard work into the expansion. It's for the bottom line. It's going to be for the shareholders. The shareholders are going to be laughing about that. They're going to be like, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. And I think, again, something that doesn't sit well with me is the fact we pay a subscription. We pay a subscription to access this game, and suddenly an expansion now has an extra paywall on it. And okay, it might not be a big deal right now, but things start with a little snowball, and eventually, microtransactions started many years ago when Bethesda decided it might be cool to sell some horse armor in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and look where we fucking are now. So that's all I have to say, like, with regards to the snowball effect. We start here, where do we end up? Like, where do we end up when, like, an expansion comes out 10 years down the line? What would we be looking at? Because that's the thing. If people don't, like, ultimately vote with their wallets or, speak up about, like, actually this isn't good. Like, this is shitty. This isn't what we want. Like, I don't want the player base to be split up on expansion launches. I could happily afford the Epic Edition. Am I going to buy it? No, because I don't agree with the fact that early access should be locked into the purchase of an expansion. I think it's poor. And I think after the hype and excitement of BlizzCon, and don't get me wrong, I'm still excited about Warcraft. I'm still excited about the future. And something we have to remember as well, Marty, is the fact that it's not the developers. It's not the developers coming up with these ideas going, hey, you know what would be really good? Let's put a 3-day early access paywall on the pre-order. It's not the developers doing that. They're building amazing worlds and stories and narratives. But we do know that companies are here to make money, and this isn't unheard of to the gaming industry. And perhaps it's an argument of also there needs to be greater restrictions on microtransactions as well, and just that whole thing, it's just spiraling.
I don't think you can call what we call microtransactions today, you cannot call them micro anymore. I mean, when I'm looking at it and it's like, like mobile game, get some currency, only £9. I'm just like, £9 that's a lot of money on like a virtual currency that doesn't really give you that much, for instance. So that whole microtransaction thing, it should be renamed.
Yeah, it's just monetization now, isn't it? It's just like there's no micro or anything like that. It is just that whole psychological thing as well, and that's probably why the gaming industry as well has got so big, because they've had some very clever people studying the habits of us humans and what we are very likely to drop money onto as well. And I'm not saying everything is terrible here and everything is bad, but it just starts with something like this. And
that's exactly what I'm afraid of as well, that this is the beginning, could be a beginning. I'm still hoping that the community is doing something about this, letting Blizzard know that this is a bad idea, and I am hoping, because I did check that you can later on, if you wish to, you can still upgrade to the Epic Edition even though you bought the Heroic Edition. So I'm sort of hoping for them to remove the 3 days early access, and then I am more than happy to upgrade it to the Epic Edition if they decide to remove it.
An interesting thing as well, remember the big uproar when Blizzard were potentially going to sell trader tenders? And now they're including those in pre-orders. That sort of doesn't seem to take any heat anymore, because now there's this other thing that has distracted everyone. So everyone doesn't care about the trader tenders anymore. Everyone's like, no, but that's not a big thing anymore. Okay, we'll let that one slide. But now there's this other thing. And that's not even mentioning as well the fact that included in the Heroic and the Epic was the Algarian Stormrider map with a whole bunch of dragon riding events and customizations as well, which I think, come on, can't you give that to everyone pre-ordering? Could you not just do that? Because that is just we're building content, and now if you don't buy this version of the game, you're locked out of this content as well. And it's just mixed in with the whole 3-day early access thing. It's okay, so we're paying a subscription, but now there's all these extra paywalls for things. And again, it starts here. Where does it end? And that is why I think we made this episode today. It's more of we're just talking about it. We're not raging into a microphone. We're just having a conversation about it. We're just saying look, this is happening. This is right in front of us. Some people are saying it's fine. If you don't buy it then, or just ignore it, or just don't go online for 3 days when the early access starts. And it's okay, that's fine. Just stick your head in the sand, and we'll not even address the problem. If that's if you have a problem in your life where you have something that doesn't align with you, just stick your head in the sand. That's a great solution. I love that. That's great, very constructive. But it doesn't sit well with me. And again, it's not the money. It's not the whole price of the thing. It's just the fact it just doesn't sit well. And we're making changes to the landscape here of what Warcraft is about. Warcraft's about the community. And in BlizzCon, that's all we heard a lot about the players and the community and how they make the game what it is. And they do. And if you start poking that, you start pulling that apart, it just takes one thread sometimes, and the whole thing will fall apart eventually, and I'm not sitting here being this is the end, this is it, this change has ruined everything. It's not like that. But again, when a company does something that you're I don't agree with that. What do you think at home? Do you agree with Blizzard's stance on giving everyone 3-day early access? Are you joyous about it? Perhaps you are, because we know there's people out there that are delighted that they're going to get access before everyone else. Or maybe you're in the same boat as me and Marty, and just raising questions about why they're doing this and where it might lead to. You can let us know your thoughts in the places that you can do that, and we look forward to hearing from you. I've been Tom, that's been Marty, and we've been ranting WoW. Sorry, talking WoW.
Thanks for tuning in, champion. Did you enjoy this episode of Talking WoW? If so, why not drop a review on your podcast catcher of choice, or leave us a comment? you can find Talking WoW on Twitter or YouTube over at Talking WoW. Hope to see you again soon!